everyone, Arsenal Fan Circle here. Pull up a chair. You are all welcome. It is the Sunday Show, episode 11, season 5. And 11 games in, I thought we would be a perfect 10 for today. I thought we'd beat Southampton, but I also did caution Southampton are a decent team. So I suppose first thing we have to do is introductions. Matt is here. Good to see you, Matt.
Hi guys, hi everyone in the chat. Hello everyone on the panel. Yeah, great to be here. Shame we couldn't get the 3 points today, but happy we're still top of the table. But at least other games kind of went our way this weekend.
Yeah. Hi Gary, how are you doing?
Hello there, Ray, Matt, Tony, everybody in the chats. I see Riddy has joined us. Tony Turner, Base Gunner, welcome to the show.
Tony, good to see you. How are you doing, Tony?
Not feeling the best. Got an infection in my toe. Got an infection in my other leg.
Is it under control?
Yeah, right now it is. It's just taking stuff to suppress my immune system. Makes it easy to get infections. So.
Okay, so listen.
You need to be the bubble boy. Is that kind of how this thing would work? If you're the bubble boy, maybe,
Yeah.
You all right?
Maybe.
So, welcome everybody. Listen, we're gonna do player focus. We usually do 2 players now, so we're gonna do definitely Granit Xhaka. But let us know who you would want for your second player to talk about. We kind of covered Gabriel Magalhaes, we covered Lokonga, we covered Ben White, we covered Nketiah. That's not to say we can't cover someone like Eddie again if we needed to. But let me know what you all want to do in there. Who should we feature for that one? Matt, let's go to you first. The title of the podcast is Tilted Field Brings a Draw. But also I want to know, is this a point gained or a point dropped in your perspective, Matt?
I think it's a point dropped, to be honest. I thought we were quite wasteful today. I thought early on we kind of came out of the blocks really quite quickly, created a few good chances. I thought we were a little bit wasteful in front of goal. I think Jesus is dropped off a little bit. I'm not knocking him because he's obviously a fantastic player, but I think he's just not got the same cutting edge that maybe he was shown in the first few games.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll come back on again and get back into his rhythm. But yeah, I think we have more than enough opportunity to kind of kill the game today, regardless of the ref. Real shame. Difficult place to go to, Southampton. They do tend to be a bit of a bogey team for us, but we have more than enough today to put them away. So yeah, I think it is a point wasted rather than a point gained. We had an opportunity this weekend to kind of extend beyond the 3rd and 4th place kind of teams. We've seen Chelsea and United drop points, Tottenham drop points. So we could have and Liverpool, of course. So we really could have kind of extended a little bit further. But you know what? We haven't lost. We've still maintained gaining some points away from home in a difficult place for us. So stay positive. It's just a shame the ref couldn't have had a half decent game as well, because there's some very questionable decisions going on. But regardless of that, we really should have put that game away.
Right, we'll definitely get into it. Welcome here to the podcast, to the show. Riddy's here, evening flight crew. Not the ideal result today, points dropped, but we'll take the point on the road and march on. We are still top of the league. I'll take the counter argument to that before I go to Gary next. I think it's a point gained. Manchester City drew there last season 1-1, and it's not going to be a game changer for what we do this season. Definitely it's a tilted field. The referee had a big part to play in it. I would have said this if we'd have won, lost, or drew the game. So referee had a big part to play in the game. I'll take the point and get out of there because the Saints had been on a decent run the last 2 games, 4 points from the last 6. Gary, doubtless looks like he will disagree with me, but that's fine.
I'm disagreeing with both of you because it's just the answer because that makes it actually even. I can talk about everything now, but it's definitely a yes to that question of A or B. It's yes. I mean, because we're lucky, one, to have gotten a point. The way we were playing in that second half, just like against Bodo, just like against Leeds, we weren't really in control of the match where we could actually say, you know what, we're lucky we got the 1 point. They did have a lucky break or whatever, and we got the point. We got out of there. No, they would have, as soon as they got the goal, they were ready to go. That's the negative part. That's -1. -2, as you said, if we weren't getting any calls, like 1 out of every 10 calls kind of went our way. Jesus got beat up all day, and then Nketiah puts a little touch in to their defender, and he gets talk. Guy almost headbutts him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And still, it's like, I don't know if I really want to give him a yellow. You kidding me? So, nah. I mean, Jesus got beat up all day. He was being held the entire game, right in front of the official, brought down, nothing called. So that's number 2 negative. Well, on the other side, Jesus is still rusty. And maybe, as somebody said, maybe he's still playing too much. Maybe
everybody's playing too much, Gary.
No. Maybe he's playing too much, because if we want to get the best out of him, he's going to have to sit more, because he can't be putting those. He looks like Bamford. We saw Bamford at Leeds, right? Same thing. Puts himself in really good situations, doesn't finish.
Yeah.
Right? And he needs to be finishing for us, because if not, it's a waste.
What was it? What was Eddie's excuse of missing his? That's been an easy goal.
He keeps saying that he wants chances, he wants opportunities, and he keeps getting chances and he keeps getting opportunities. And why is Nketiah playing wing? Don't we have a wing to bring in? Jesus is having a really poor day. I think he's,
or even put Jesus on.
I think he's dead tired at that point in the game. He probably needs to just come out. Let's get some fresh legs up top. And why is Martinelli coming out of a game when he sat out the last one and came in for 15 minutes? Right? Why is White coming out of a game? Same thing. He was rested in the last match.
Listen, there's a lot to bite into there, and we'll take small bites. That's how you eat an elephant, I've been told. You eat an elephant by taking small bites. And Arsenal need to maybe approach that the same way. Iconoclast said, evening all, it's not like it wasn't expected. Yeah, our form has dipped. We've been dropping the amount of goals we've been scoring. And but we did pick up a win where we didn't deserve to last weekend against Leeds. We didn't deserve to get 3 points in that game. And, we dropped 2 points today. Swings and roundabouts, right? Tony, your point of view from it all.
Well, I'll start off with, it was definitely 2 points dropped. First time we've lost since we went ahead, scored first in the game since the Man City game first of last year. So that's a long stretch of games of scoring first and winning. We were good for first 15 minutes. Rest of the game, pretty flat. Looked a little bit better when Tierney came on. I don't know why Tierney couldn't have started, but I warned you Thursday when I had to leave early that these players aren't getting enough rest. They need full rest. Coming in, playing 30, 40 minutes of a game, that's not getting rest. They need rest. You got enough depth to play the players the entire game in Europa. We're not doing that. Premier League should be our focus. Now you come out, see the team's getting tired. Saw it last week versus Leeds. I mean, even though these guys are playing 30 minutes, they're going out there, they're playing. And they're not looking good on 24 hours rest. That's why the form's Arteta hasn't been rotating them enough.
I've been calling for rotation since day one. This is what it looks like.
Yeah, but Thursday you're saying that
rotation. I've been asking for rotation since day one. That's not rotation. Going from Europa League to Premier League. That's not rotation. And Nketiah should have already.
There's nobody that we can rotate.
There is ways to rotate. You take a player, you say you don't start today. You take another player, you say you start today. That's how you rotate.
No, it wasn't an argument with you as if to say how to rotate. We don't have the players to rotate or quality coming on the bench, off the bench.
You
Firstly,
don't
Miami saying
re-sign Nketiah for 5 years, 100,000 a week, and then go, you know what? I don't trust you to start for me in the Premier League. That's just how much confidence does that show in the player? I'll give you your shirt
but it is
number.
a
I'll
horrible
give you everything
player.
you want, but I won't play you in the Premier League. What?
BX
Yeah,
kind
I
of said,
understand that, but
go ahead,
he
Mayor.
is a horrible player. He's
What's
a
disappointing?
horrible player.
BX said, what's disappointing is that we simply gave it away. The team was flat today.
Very much.
He had the chances to put the game to bed first half. Listen, this can't be about Gabriel Jesus, as we said. There's other players in the team.
No, it can't be about Jesus. It can't be.
It's not his fault he's being overplayed.
But he's in front of the goal. You can give me one goal. You got nothing. He had more than enough opportunities to score. So you can't say, well, he didn't have that much service today. He had many chances to score today.
Yeah, at least
you have to score at least one. This is 2 games in a row now. He's been sitting in front of goal with opportunities to score, and we've gotten no goals out of him. Both times.
So what you're saying, Gary,
is we run away with it.
But Gary, there was nothing from Saka and nothing from Martinelli today.
A lot
Saka
went through
looked
the
good for
middle.
first half.
You had so many chances from Jesus, your striker. We always talk about, well, you know what? If that was Aubameyang and he's not getting any service, then you're like, oh, that's a problem. And then he's getting tons of service today with our mid. He's getting tons of service today, and he doesn't score. No, it's on you. He can take it. He's a big man.
Yeah,
this is why he's one of the leaders on the team. He had a poor day today. I said coming in that I needed to see him actually show us a low return of form because he looked like he was on the cusp of it in the last match.
He was getting back to it. Yeah, exactly. And the reality, Matt, is Arsenal need to take that second chance and get that second goal before Southampton are either get a foothold back in the game or given a foothold back in the game, and we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we do. Too often you kind of see us now getting the first goal and then kind of going a bit flat and taking our foot off the pedal. You want to go for the throat and really put it away. You want to have a couple of goals before half time, make it comfortable. Because otherwise you end up giving teams the opportunity to come back. Suddenly it's 1-1, and then you're fighting tooth and nail to try and get one and nick a lead. We've got to be a little bit more ruthless. Go for it a little bit more. Don't sit back as much as we do. But like you say, I think that, the tiredness, the lack of rotation, we do, like, the guys have said, we do look flat. We haven't got that energy of the press, the zipping of the ball around the pitch. We haven't got that same level of zest that we had when we started the season. So that needs to be sorted because, we're hardly through the season yet, really, So if we're dipping now, we need to kind of sort that out very quickly. But I'm hoping that it's just a short-term dip. But we're saying this. We're sat top of the table. We want to stay there. We don't want suddenly these draws to turn into losses. So yeah.
You're just coming in a little bit crackly as well, Matt.
Sorry.
Check your connections there, maybe. You're starting to sound like Sean Dyche. I think. I haven't heard from Sean Dyche in a little while as well, so that's getting a little bit concerning. We might hear from him sooner or later. Gary, yeah, that's good. I think
excellent.
Gary, as Tony alluded to, we probably played 15, 20 minutes. Part of my notes are we're 1-0 up, and we need to keep going now after 20 minutes, and we sort of faded out of the game. And around 30, 35 minutes, the referee does have a number of situations that favors Southampton in my opinion, especially the ball that hits the referee. Technically, that's a drop ball that is to be contested. He told Gabriel Jesus to leave that situation and give the ball to Southampton.
I've seen it where typically, if it was a controlled pass, it wasn't like it was a deflection or something like that. So it was them passing the ball. I don't know if they were going to get on the other end of that. I think they were. So that's probably why it was their ball anyways. I've seen it. I've never seen it. I barely ever seen them just drop the ball and say it's a contested ball. So anytime I see that, because we've had opportunities where it's been we're on a break, right, and we put a pass and we cross it through, and it hits the official, even though it does bounce in our favor, and they stop it immediately. So I think that call is legit, and that right there is the least of our problems with the official. He did that one. I don't. It's the fact that they can hold our players and bring them down to the ground and nothing gets
Fact
called.
is they should have finished with 10 men.
Well, yeah, that's their back line. They were just beating us up and not getting anything. Right? We had Tierney even took one to the chest. Nothing was even looked at there. I mean, lots of different scenarios where we just weren't getting the calls, but that wasn't the reason we were missing our opportunities. Right? We weren't finishing our dinner. So.
Wow.
I mean we scored the first goal, and then as we started continually missing our opportunities, the tide changed. The calls went against us. Was starting to go against us. The other team's starting to get a little bit of life, and continuing to just play the way they were because they were allowed to. Right? We put a little touch in, and it's called immediately. But I don't think that's the reason why we lost. It's just one of the things that just took away our chances to make it at least an even game in that sense, and maybe we do come across with something. But yeah,
the reality is, if Gabriel Jesus he's probably got 2 gilt-edged chances, one just before halftime, and then one in second half played through by Erdegaard.
Yeah, one-on-one with the goalkeeper.
Mm-hmm. Clear cut.
Actually, he had twice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, Saka had the one on the first one on there. He should at least been able to get past the goal here. The first one by Jesus, he's got to take that shot yesterday. Takes an extra touch, lets the defender come in on him, and we get nothing. We don't even get a shot off. That's I mean, like I said, that's on him. He knows how to finish that. He takes that shot early, he should be able to get past the goalkeeper. That's what he does.
Yeah, BX kind of said Jesus never was given recovery time after getting knocked out, as well as he's doing it all on the pitch with not enough help or support. These are the areas, Tony, we know in our game, the Partey position and the striking position, that we don't have adequate cover for.
Yeah, we don't have really enough depth all over the field. That's why you're seeing the players getting tired. That's why you're not seeing us up for Sunday. Arteta's putting a little bit too much into Europa, feeling too strong of a team, especially if he brings in our top players for the last 30 minutes or whatever. Shouldn't be doing that. It's not what they're there for.
Yeah, and it's a tough month. We've had something like 7, I don't know how many games, 8 or 9 games in 7 games maybe in 23 days.
And that's what the rest of our season's going to look like. It's going to be super congested. We're going to have to get players in. That's what I was worried about. I said kind of October would decide our season, because see what we could hold up to.
Yeah.
And right now we don't have the depth. Maybe we'll get the depth, but it looks unlikely we'll get enough players we need. But our main need right now that we can see clear as day is we need a number 2 striker, because Eddie is just not good enough.
Well, what we're seeing on the field, go ahead, Tony.
And when the game changed is when Hasenhüttl changed the formation with 15, 20 minutes left. After that, they were kind of in control pretty much the rest of the game.
Yeah. I think Mahir, Eddie on the left wing again, says Riddy, and Gary on Gary's trip show yesterday, somebody made a great point. I think it might have been Gary, might have been Riddy. Gabriel Jesus can play on the right, Saka can play on the left, and Eddie can play through the middle. But we're playing Eddie, who's not performing well for us in terms of scoring. He's been put out on the left wing.
As much as we don't know the quality we have in Marquinhos, some may know. Why not Marquinhos on the left-hand side? And then, you know what I was thinking? You put Antony in front, and then you play Gabriel Jesus on the right wing.
Play who up front?
Ivan Toney. Why don't you put him in front? You can play him in front and then leave Saka rest and play Jesus on the right hand side.
I mean, this does press the need a little bit. We know the players that are needed now in January. Maybe we know the positions.
We know the exact positions.
And we're going to be.
I'm sorry to say, but it is trash. I'm saying this since a while, guys. It is trash. If you need a proper backup to your striker, which is our striker, which is Gabriel Jesus, he's going to need support, somebody to support him. Eddie has not been the answer. You give me a chance, and that's what Eddie does. He does not provide anything. I think something like 1 in every 6 games, a goal in every 7 or 10. Just push you. You need depth. I can go on about depth. I was absolutely fuming this afternoon.
Yeah. Big Scudder said, got to be clinical, Matt. Eddie Nketiah comes on. He has one chance in the second half. He pulls his shot wide. A bit of a deflection, but I didn't have any confidence that it was going to be on target in any case.
Yeah. The thing is, this is the thing we're going to get with Nketiah. He's not a £50 million striker at the end of the day. He's not a £100 million striker. He is a very average striker that will have
£5 striker, yeah, man. £5.
He'll have a fantastic game, 1 in every 10, and he'll score a couple of goals, really good goals, and then he'll go back to being very average again. I like Nketiah. I think when he is on the ball, he can offer us something, but unfortunately, it doesn't happen all that often or often enough. And I think if we're going to be challenging and we need to rotate with quality, he's not really the man that you're going to be looking for in big games or when you really need an impact player to come on and make a difference. He's not that guy. And you think January is an opportunity. We need 2 top quality strikers competing. Eddie is a third, and I think we all said that at the end of last season.
Yeah.
It was going to be our European kind of Europa League choice, really, and cup competitions, and really in the league we needed another top quality striker to compete with Jesus. So yeah, I think that's somewhere we're going to have to look. And then obviously, like I say, the centre of midfield defensively. But we're going to have to go out in January, I think, because it surprised me actually at how quickly we've started to flag this season. So I knew it would happen at some point, but I didn't expect it maybe to happen quite so quickly or seem to happen quite so quickly.
Yeah. Store on Tours in here. See you next week. Yeah, Nottingham Forest, congratulations on your win yesterday against Liverpool. And we will see you next week at the Emirates. Do you think Jesus needs to work on his one-on-one finishing? He has been shooting straight at the goalkeepers recently.
Yeah, he does seem to be knocking it straight at goalkeepers, and it's a bit strange.
I don't think a lot of players do that when they're tired.
Yeah.
I mean, what's happening?
He's not tied in the first half of a match. No, stop with that. Nah, I get after the first half he might be tired, and he was tired in the second half, but not in the first 30 minutes. Not in the first 30 minutes. You can give me 30 minutes.
Exactly.
Then I'll
say you're tired.
Do you think, Gary, that BX is right in terms of what he said about, not giving Jesus enough rest after that knock that he had, the head injury? Yeah. I think maybe.
And he had another knock before that. He had a knock before he had a head injury.
So do you think, do you think he should have been given more of a rest and maybe missed a game?
Based on how he's come back, probably, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
He was not a factor against Leeds, right?
No, he was invisible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, invisible. Like he tried to come back and get into the match, but it didn't help. Like today, you could see him come back and help and support, and it worked. But nah, I was gonna say we needed to win that PSV match. That's why we need to go strong. I don't think we went that strong, but we needed to play to get that 3 points there. We are now in control of the group. Yeah. Right. No matter what happens, we're in control of that group. We beat Zurich. It doesn't matter. We're done. If we draw, we're done. All right. So we got 2 opportunities to get there. How, depending on how he lines up on Thursday, we'll see.
Yeah.
Now,
We'll have a little while back.
we are back in this twilight zone of this player is poor, doesn't do some of the things he's supposed to do, but I like him. All right. This is Lacazette once again. Lacazette gives us the leadership. He does show us 100% out there on the pitch, but he doesn't score. And this is a striker number 2. You know, and Aubameyang did the same thing. You know, and he didn't do anything, but at least the other 2 did. But he's not doing it for us. In the Europa League, he should be shining, right? He's not really shining as much as we want. We don't feel like he's like a dominant forward in Europa League, and that's where he has to shine, because that's where he can make his mark and get the minutes, right?
Yeah.
So,
Connacht said Arsenal need to stop expecting the referee to have a perfect game. Yeah, we know that's not going to happen. Referee's not going to be perfect, but at least show something like a 50-50.
I'm going to also say we, as a team, we did not look to we didn't look too upset that all those calls were going against us.
Yeah.
Nobody was in the ear of the official basically saying, look, he just took down my man on a long pass where you had all the time in the world to see that. He's got 2 arms around his back, almost around his neck, brings him down, and you do nothing. That's where somebody needs to say that. If we have a captain, he should say.
Well, we did, Gary, but he got a yellow card off the bench, didn't he? Or
because he's watching his team get beat up on the pitch. That should have been Arteta.
Yeah,
the man is standing right there. He sees this all. He's seen this all game.
I mean, you know, managers can get sent from the bench as well into the stands. So you want Arteta to do that? What Klopp did.
We needed something.
Doesn't make any difference,
today,
Ray. They still radio down.
We needed some
down.
fire today from the team, be it coming off the bench, be it from a manager on the sidelines. We needed something, because we're sitting there basically just letting it happen to us.
Doesn't really matter if the manager gets sent to the stands, Ray.
Yeah, it matters. Yeah, when the
it
game,
does when they just call down to the other coaches and tell them what to do. It doesn't matter.
Do you think it's as fluid to do that? I don't think so. I don't think you can get
hell, probably help
it's going to be players. Yeah.
Win the game and complain afterwards when we've got 3 points. It's been meant to be the perfect reason, and not the squad depth is part of the reason, definitely as well.
You have to complain in the game, or else they're just going to roll over you, and you can't have that happen, right? I mean, we've seen officials be influenced by the conversations on the pitch. So I felt like we were being taken advantage of, and it doesn't go both ways in that match. All right, if we defended like they did, they would have had penalties today.
For sure.
Think about it; they would have penalties if Gabriel had put 2 arms around their striker.
100%. Yeah.
If Saliba had put arms around their attacker, come on.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like that, like every time the ball comes into him, he's getting held onto and he can't get to the ball, right? Nothing's getting called.
Yeah, we saw a penalty. Now, listen, what do you think? That was a penalty, the United-Chelsea game or not? We're looking for consistency. And pundits will say that happens 10 times in a game. Well, either you don't give the penalty if it happens, or you do give it, but you got to be consistent. And
the direct comparison was the Chelsea United game, wasn't it, Ray? Where that penalty was given. You start
giving penalties. You start giving penalties for that, Matt. Then you don't see very many of those wrapping around in the box. At least arms around your body. Stephen had to take a break from Arsenal after the match. Too mad at the officials and Arteta. Did you see the centre back we were trying to get? Which one was that? Salisu? Tony?
No. The one I used to mention a lot. That Stan would give me.
Does that mean we're getting them? Who? Name names, Tony.
Indica.
Oh, I didn't see him.
Is this like a 16-year-old player?
Yeah.
We don't have time. Once again,
he's like 23, Gary.
I thought that guy in Dick is like 18 or something like that.
No, he's not.
Calm down. Melvin Marks, we are the only club that would have a player like Eddie to rely on for a top 4 place. Yeah, we need more. We need better. Welcome, Melvin. Good evening to all on the panel and to all watching. Well, folks,
Melvin.
we did warn of this. The squad limitations are now starting to be exposed. January may come too late for reinforcements. Can't be too much more damage if you only got 4 or 5 more games till the break. Okay. Come on, you gooders. Don Juan's in the house. I would play the under 21s against PSV. Yeah, we'll talk about PSV. What our approach may be. Stephen said it's not surprising me that the players are starting to wear down. We play a high intensity game that takes a toll on the players. We don't have the depth to give them players. Don Juan, does Arteta know we have under 21s? We'll find out on Thursday, Tony.
He keeps putting them in Europa League games and never playing them, and it's like, play them. That was it. You know what? If you watched him, he made at least 3 offenses in that whole sequence. I believe he gives like a little punch down below, and then I think there's 2 up high. I don't know, one's a shoulder or 2 heads. Attempts to.
Yeah, he definitely lashes out before that, doesn't he?
Yeah, so if you looked at it, you could have given him 2 yellows, because he contacted with the arm below and he missed with the headbutt, that could be 2 yellows, and we know it can be done because it's happened to us. We've gotten 2 yellows in one sequence, so we know that that's not an excuse, right?
Iconoclast says Arsenal play better when Arteta isn't there, like City. I don't agree with that. We've seen some really good performances since then. Gary was at one of them, in my opinion. So we have seen good performances with Arteta on this tour.
This was written in the clouds, the performance today, and I don't think it's a bogey team thing. We've seen the decline in our performances for 3 games now on the trot, right?
Yes.
With our starting 11, right?
Our form is dipping, and it has been dipping the last couple of weeks. So I was hoping the PSV game would kickstart us, but this was a better performance for 15 minutes, but we died after that. Hendon, are you expecting reinforcements? Hope he'll more than likely put more players on loan. Nope, he'll have more. I won't be holding my breath in anticipation of transfers coming in. It will show true ambition of the club. This is a key point in the January transfer window. Will we be getting some reinforcements? Yeah. We drew a game away at Southampton. Calm down, is not the end of the world, really. And Steve frothing like.
Well, did you know what though? This season, as we found out last year, are fine margins. And when it comes to the end of the season, drop points like this, where you should go and win and put your chances away, that's where you start ruining, the draws that we should have won, and we could have won. So yeah, it's not the end of the world right now, but it's stopping it from being a roll-on effect.
Yeah.
For the next 5-6 games, you want to kind of shake it off and go back to how we started. So yes, I think it's important what we do from kind of these next couple of weeks and how we respond, and how what he manages to do in January will really impact our season. Because it will be a real shame and I don't want to speak too soon because let's not catastrophize. We're only 10, 11 games in the season, so. But it would be a real shame to see us start so brightly and then not act accordingly to, stop that dip becoming a roll of bad form. So, yeah, I think January is going to be important. I think what he does over the next couple of weeks to rotate the squad and deal with the tired legs, I think is going to be really key.
Yeah, well said. Okay, let's get into the game a little bit more focused then. We scraped over the line for the last month. We made Leeds look amazing, and they flopped since against lower opposition. Leeds, I was hoping Leeds would pull out and get some results. Usually, if the penalty starts outside the box and continues, it is a penalty. It's not given, but yes, it was a penalty. Hi Sam, I'm not frothing. You need to get your glasses on. Comments. BX, thanks for your duties, your moderator duties as well. long-term effects. Don Juan said, "I feel cheated, mate. That ref did everything he could to keep Southampton in the game."
Yeah.
There was definitely a sequence after about 33, 35 minutes where Southampton had a sequence of corners. I felt like he was tilting the pitch in any way
You know
possible.
what? To me, this is what I was think what happened. As soon as they realized we weren't going to take the game from them,
Yeah,
everybody in the stadium basically said, "All right, well then we'll like you said, the field got tilted, and they seemed to get everything go their way, and they seemed to want it more as well because they started to realize we didn't want to take it from them. You know,
yeah,
you have to go in there and take it from them, right? They're not going to give it to you.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Liverpool had opportunities to take the game from Nottingham Nottingham Forest,
Forest.
didn't do it, and guess what happened? They got that goal late, just like happened today. If you hang around, you keep those teams around. All they need is one mistake from a sequence of players all in a row. Like there's no way they should have scored that goal the way they just like sliced through our defense like we weren't there,
Yeah.
right?
It's still a high line. Where the fuck
Okay.
was Saliba?
Um,
He never does come into the picture on that
In,
goal.
in reference to this comment, would you all be in favor of Eddie and Kedia playing next weekend, starting the game next weekend?
No.
Matt, because Jesus is on the yellow card, right? We could miss the Chelsea game.
Yeah, he's a combative player as well. So, you know, he gives as good as he gets.
Yeah.
You know, Forest will be fairly physical. I was quite impressed, actually, with how they played against Liverpool. I thought they did quite well. And I think, actually, if they play like they did against Liverpool, they'll give us a really good game.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a rollover. So it's a tough one because usually you'd say no because he hasn't quite got that quality that Jesus has got. You want your best players on the pitch, don't you? So everything tells me no, put Jesus on. But given how Jesus has been off his game, I think maybe you could bring him on second half, possibly, see how Eddie gets on. Yeah, possibly. I think I'd probably play it like that. I think I'd maybe bring him on as the second half, see how Eddie gets on in the first half, give him his chance, and then if at half time we're creating absolutely nothing or he's being very wasteful, bring him on the second half. But yeah, it's going to be a tough one. I'm going to be there next week, so I'm hoping for a glut of Arsenal goals because the last time I went to see us at the Emirates, it was the 0-0 Burnley draw in January last year.
Well,
it was terrible. So I'm really hoping, sorry, because I think there is a Nottingham Forest fan in here somewhere. Yeah. So apologies, but I want us to stuff you next week. So I want to see a good
we have to return them back to their form that they had for most of the season. Because if we don't, I believe that they're not as bad as they look, and they just been getting beat down by teams because it's just the Premier League. It is it isn't that easy, and they finally took a step back on the way that they played yesterday on a team that was struggling. We're not necessarily struggling like Liverpool, but we are not in the form we were when we were at our heights this season. So if you're going to take advantage and get some points out of it, now is the time. But it's also our time to change that and switch it up a little bit. So I didn't even think about Nketiah not starting next week, but for me, it's probably best that he starts that match because that he can't that match. Any match with anybody in the lower 15, he needs to be able to play. One, to get the confidence that look, I'm going to have trust in you to come in there and give me a game, but also I can't play Jesus for 35 matches or whatever the number is. Right? I have to sit him. I mean, if he's in the high 20s, that should be about where you stop. I mean, that's where you should stop and say, I got enough out of him. Not if we're playing in knockout rounds, right, and cup matches later on. So
would you start Eddie on next Sunday?
I never thought of that because I was just like,
I know, but they want to.
No, like I said, he should have already had a start already in my eyes. In my eyes, he should have already had a start because everybody has said of these first 11 matches, there aren't really the top teams. If that's the case, then Nketiah should have played at least one of them, all right? Yeah. Unless we can't say that because he's our number 2, and we need rotation all over the pitch.
So,
Right.
I think Matt and I are thinking start Eddie and Kedia because Jesus does need that break, at least not to start the game. Gary's going to think about it. I'm going to come back to you, Gary, unless you have a decision right now.
Do I start Nketiah?
Yeah. Would you?
Yeah, no,
think
I said
about it?
I would start him. I never thought of it because I just want Jesus to get back into form, and I don't know how else to.
Yeah.
Like he should get back into form at PSV if he plays them again. But do you play him again?
It's been seen playing him back into form doesn't seem to work. So maybe give him a break. The last 2 or 3 games hasn't worked out for him. Tony, would you start Eddie?
No.
You'd stay with Jesus.
Throw Martinelli in the middle.
Yeah, but that's not really an option. Come on.
Well, why is it not an option?
It isn't an
It's
option.
not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
We're not gonna. We're gonna just weaken the right side.
So
You can put Saka in
no,
Marquinhos.
you're Arteta. You're Arteta right now. You're going to pick Jesus or Eddie. What are you going to do?
I'm going to pick Jesus because Eddie will not give you anything.
Okay. All right. So I think 3-1 there. Maybe we try Eddie next Sunday. Let's see what happens. How about that goal, Gary? Granit Xhaka.
That that was splendid. Splendid from our center back. I mean, our right back, right? So that was just
Granit
splendid.
Xhaka.
That was a team goal,
right
right?
back is the one that put it on a plate for him,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So
That was a good team
really,
goal.
and
It was
he
a good
finishes
team
strong.
goal.
I mean, that based on that shot, how do we miss all the other shots that we took? No,
Very true,
that's
Gary.
the shot that
very
we
true.
make, but we miss all those other shots. How do we make that one? Because in another day he blasts that over, right? And we're like, it was going full top speed when that ball comes in, but it was a rocket, right? Rocket.
Mhm.
Goalkeeper had no chance. Really, really nice shot from him. And I don't think we had anything like that again. Like kind of that sequence of play where somebody's streaming down the sides and puts a cross in, and everybody's running into the box. I don't feel like that. We saw anything like that again, which is, that's Southampton basically, making us work for it.
That's technique. I think BX kind of was talking about that yesterday. The technique of Granit Xhaka he doesn't have bad technique, right?
Mm.
No, it's fantastic. That was hit at pace. Like Gary said, it's a fantastic ball in from Ben White, put on a plate for him. But, he just does that. That's twice he's done that now. And the technique is just exquisite. And he thumped that in as well. That hit the back of the net with some force. Yeah, I'm loving seeing Xhaka get forward more. He's getting more involved in our kind of attacking play. And if he can hit a ball like that and put away chances, on the half volley like that, then long may it continue, because we haven't got many that can strike a ball as well as he can, And actually, I don't know if you're aware, he was speaking in an interview, and I didn't realise this, but apparently up until the under-14s, he was actually a striker.
Yeah, when he was younger, he was a striker. Yeah.
I think it seems like the best players when they were younger are strikers, but then eventually they get higher up as the levels get higher and higher. It's like, okay, maybe not. It's like everybody was a quarterback in school when they were younger. It turns out they're better off at another position when it gets down to it, right?
Yeah. Brady said we have a poor record at Saints, just like Old Trafford, and it continues. Glad we didn't lose, though. But Matt, two right-footed strikes now from Granit Xhaka in 2 games running. So, we have to talk about Granit Xhaka and the arc that he's been on this season in particular as well.
Yeah, what a fantastic story. I mean, I'm quite happy to put my hands up and say, I've criticised him quite heavily over the last couple of years. And he has had his moments. He has had his kind of poor form. He has had his moments where he's had red cards and dodgy decision making and put us into difficult places in matches where we shouldn't really have been. But I think it's a bit of a stroke of genius from Arteta in the way that he's handled him. He's managed him. He's seen something in him and kept him at the club, had a longer term plan and kind of pushed him forwards, limited kind of the liability that he has within the team.
You're triggering Tony now. With every word you say, you're triggering Tony. Matt?
No, well, do you know what? You've got to give credit where credit's due. You know, he's playing out of his skin at the moment, and yes, he still has that in him, but he's kind of put in a position on the pitch where he's less likely to do it. We've got other players around him to try and support and prevent that from happening and defend and do the bits that we don't really want Xhaka doing. And to see him, you know, now having songs about him, bringing fans back on side and scoring goals and happy, you know, and really contributing to the team. What more can you ask for? So, yeah, you know, whether we still keep him at the end of the season, who knows?
Mm-hmm.
But for what he's doing right now and how he's turned things around, I've got to give him full credit for it, to be fair to him.
We all thought this summer would be an acquisition coming in that would push Granit Xhaka closer to the bench than the pitch.
I remember when you laughed at me when I told you he'd play over 10 games this season.
You remember everything, Tony. You remember everything. My hair is struggling with 30 degrees Celsius, and it's 9 p.m. I have to remember, a southern hemisphere, it's warmer down there. We're all wearing, extra layers here. But Tony, Granit Xhaka, come on, got to give out some props, right?
Yeah, well, he's had 3 goals this year. That equals the
Got 4
goals he
this
had
year.
in the previous 3
Got
seasons
4 goals
combined.
this year. 4.
Apparently 4.
Got 4 goals.
3 in the Premier League.
Okay, that's fine. I think Orbinho.
That doesn't go with the stat I was going with, Chris.
Okay,
There, Gary. Previous 3 seasons, 3 goals combined. This season, 3. But,
Yeah, but you know,
as
it's
Matt
not
was
just-
saying, Matt was giving credit to Arteta, this and that. It's another one of those happy accidents. Arteta did not expect him to start scoring goals. He pulled him out of there because he's so much of a liability. Somehow this year, he hit the ground running and he's scoring.
I don't know. They can't all be happy accidents. You know,
You really think he planned for Xhaka to start scoring goals? Or do you think he put Xhaka there?
The man is just poking the bear. That's all he's doing. Because Ray never believed. Because somebody was talking the other day saying that Xhaka might be a 10-goal scorer for us this season. And it doesn't. And it's like, damn, every time he goes out there, he has an opportunity to score. And he's been doing it at a clip that he can get to 10 goals for Arsenal this year, which would be like the most he's had in his career.
And he's not going to get injured, right? Because his best ability is availability.
He is never.
He's a machine, you know, in terms of his fitness and his engine. He's incredible.
Some players can just keep going and going and going.
Yeah.
Don Juan.
Maybe he's on the TB12 diet. He goes.
Think about it.
He gets his meals.
He's got 20 goals for his career.
Yeah.
He's at 47 total for his career.
20 for club.
I mean, if you take Holland out of
it's all relative. Club. You were just talking club. Stick with club. All right.
I was talking about Premier League.
No, exactly. So for club.
Okay. Don Juan, they got the point they wanted, and that's what it's all about. Arsenal are playing cricket while everyone else is playing rugby. On the referees enforcing that as well. Keep the whole first team home. We'll talk about PSV before we get out of here. We are going to have a Kahoot quiz as well, so stick around for that.
Oh, fucking fantastic.
Listen, we knew a draw was going to come. We knew we were going to drop
No,
points.
He's talking about the Kahoot, not your football talk.
I love the Kahoots. The Kahoots are great.
Far as viewers says gettable, we have to slap them. Yeah. Listen, we got to respond to this. You know, when you drop points, the most important thing is to come back and get 3 in the next game.
Very much so.
Meyer says start Marquinhos as well. We never know; it might spark a reaction.
I'm against that. I'm not against Marquinhos start.
But reaction from who?
Huh?
Reaction from who? Is that reaction?
Well,
from
that's the thing, because the problem isn't Saka or Martinelli, is it? That's
reaction
the thing.
from Marquinhos. You know, a player coming off the bench and making.
Well, if he can't get in the Europa League games, then he's not getting the Premier League games. You know what I mean?
I think Mahir was talking about PSV as well.
Starting
there in that game, and that's probably a good place to start him. Ben Dipper's trapped by tricky trees. Xhaka's technique. I think he controlled that. You're talking about the power. That's control. That's controlling the cross as well. The cross is coming in fast, and he's directed it, and he's added something to it, but he's also controlled it.
He's straight in the middle of a box. He's going to miss it. Straight up with penalty.
Erdegaard
You
missed.
cannot say that because didn't you watch Jesus straight in front of the goal?
Mm-hmm.
And do you know what?
Right on the penalty marker.
There's a bit of a whip on that as well. It wasn't just a ball that hit straight across the box in front of him. That was almost curling, almost towards him and behind him. So it wasn't the easiest to hit. I thought he did really, really well to strike.
Yeah, but where was he standing when the ball touched him? He was dead center in the middle of the penalty box.
Yeah, but that's just good positioning from Xhaka, isn't it, to be there at the right time?
I'm not quite sure with this comment. Oh, dear Ray, you're serious about the Nketiah prank. I'm not
maybe
quite
starting
sure.
him in the next match.
Listen, I'm doing it more to protect Gabriel Jesus than to give Nketiah a start. That's, both things can be.
Steven agreed with me and start Martinelli in the middle.
Listen, what does that say then? You don't trust Nketiah at all?
I don't trust him at all. No.
Keep in mind, Southampton had the whole week to prepare for this game. Don Juan, Leeds United had the whole week to prepare as well. But we're going to be facing, if we are going to be successful, we're going to face teams.
That can never be an excuse for why we play poorly, because this is what we want. We actually want to have midweek games. So it's just part of the territory.
Yep.
And we are better than the teams we're playing, so it doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter.
Yeah. And
mentally today we weren't there, but we have the talent to beat anybody we play.
Mikel Arteta does not make excuses. He expects our players to go out and win 3 times a week. And I don't think we're going to see too many memes. I hope Arteta doesn't start coming up with excuses like Jurgen Klopp has in recent times. Martinelli.
It's going to be today.
Martinelli in the middle, Saka on the left, and Marquinhos on the right. Exactly, Stephen. But Arteta's got to recognize Eddie Nketiah can't play on the left wing. Jesus has already played 1,076 minutes.
That's a slap in the face to our wingers. That Nketiah gets to play on the left wing when his role is not a wing. He is never excelled as much as he has in the middle of the pitch. So stop it.
When's Zinchenko supposed to be healthy?
It's not going to help us score.
I'm just saying, Will. We're shooting.
We're in front of the goal. We're missing shots. It has nothing to do with Zinchenko playing.
we're shooting 20 to 30 goals while he was in there. 20 to 30 shots.
We had 4 goals in us today. It had nothing to do with a number of shots that we took today.
There are no
is 12 enough shots, Gary?
How many chances did we miss today, Tony? We've seen it doesn't actually matter sometimes how many shots you get.
We only had 3 on target.
I didn't say we didn't miss them wildly, but we had opportunities to score more than 3 times today.
Tony, you've been skipping your cricket lessons, fella. We need 3 quality mids, 1 striker. Yeah, Gary, the VAR checks for Manchester City seem to go on quite a while.
Yeah, they wanted to make sure, and it seemed like they still got it wrong. But we know it, as I said, the first one, Erdegaard didn't get it when we played them, right? So I guess it's okay for the goalkeeper takes down, gets a leg, gets an arm on the attacker, right? So
today's VAR checks were very quickly and completed in short order.
I don't even think they looked. I don't even think they looked. I think they flashed. They just put the light on and then turned it off.
Yeah, none of them took over 20 seconds.
Put it under the light to check it. We're talking about Granit Xhaka as a player focus. Let's pick a second player. Let me know in the chat box who you would like us to talk about.
We already talked about Xhaka. Is that what we're saying?
Well, we are talking about Granit Xhaka. We can say some more good things about him.
Oh, boy.
Orbinho put out a tweet that he scored more goals now than he's got yellow cards for this season. And that's
Crazy, right?
first time in his career that he's been in his Arsenal career.
That didn't take long, did it?
But listen, we are not talking about Granit Xhaka being sent off this season so far. Haaland doesn't have the finesse shot trait Xhaka does.
He can't have it all, can he? He can't have it all. He's got to be missing something. I said he's got to be missing something. He can't have it all. And I know he's a robot, but he's still missing a few screws. He's fine.
Yeah. All he does is score as many goals than like 12 of the teams in the league. Only 8 teams have more goals than one player does.
Here's an unusual situation. There are players at clubs who are so valuable. How can I phrase this? Not so valuable to their club, but they got themselves into a situation where they have a decent amount of money. Ollie Watkins is on 100,000 at Aston Villa. You wouldn't say that he's better than Ivan Toney right now. Eddie Nketiah is on 100,000 at Arsenal. You wouldn't say he's better than Ivan Toney right now.
Martinelli and Saka make less than Nketiah. Yeah. So just put that in perspective. Right?
That's the value of a good agent for you, Gary.
No, it's crap from Arsenal.
Crap from Arteta. We were to let him go and sign him to.
I mean, you
5-year deal.
I don't. Okay, you like I said, I don't mind if they're going to spend the money. Then they better use the player. Mm-hmm. And they've shown that they don't. And
meanwhile, we have Balogun scoring another goal in France. They call it a farmers' league, but at least he's learning his trade.
Right. How are we to get rid of Nketiah?
Leeds will take him. Don't worry.
Yeah, Mr. Tom just showed.
I think a lot of teams will take him because they will.
On $100,000 a week, nobody's that take him. Gary, come on.
A team like West Ham, team like Aston Villa. The
Premier League taking for $100,000.
Tony, the Premier League is the place that will there's money in the Premier League.
Nobody's taking him for $100,000. Nobody.
Not right now.
It could be the fee combined with the wages. It's the overall package you have to look at.
He's have to take a wage cut. It's the only way he's going.
No, it's the overall package. Arsenal could sell him for a lower price as well, if we get to that situation.
What is he worth?
Tony will tell you.
No, Ray, what is he worth to you?
50, 60 a week.
You think he's worth 50?
Yeah.
He's worth as much as Ben White. As much as
Partey. 50,000.
Oh, no. You said value. We're going to sell him plus his salary, right?
20.
So if you're gonna,
20 million.
Okay.
He's not worth 20 million.
I mean,
Gary, what
we couldn't get over 12 for Xhaka, right?
Is he young?
You think he's any better than Iwobi was, Ray?
He's a young English player.
Is he any better than Iwobi?
Well, we got to sell him to Everton then, Tony. So what are you thinking?
I'm asking, is he any better than Iwobi?
No. He's not any better than Iwobi.
So he's less than 20 million.
Yeah. Who else do we want to talk about? In the chat box, let us know who you want us to talk about. Anything else to say about Granit Xhaka, Matt?
No, just long may it continue. Happy days. It's really right. Just on a personal level, really, it's nice for him as a human being to kind of be appreciated and loved amongst the fan base again. Because it's only a good thing. Like you say, you're seeing it through his performances now. He's loved. I think that only gives you a boost and a push and a motivation to go and play well. There's a lot more squad harmony. And he's, like it or not, he is a significant part of that kind of leadership group, as we call it, and he's an influential member of the team. So if he's happy and he's playing well and he's scoring, that really, to me, is only a good thing for the team. So, long may it continue.
Yeah, Gary, this is a huge positive for our season so far with the Granit Xhaka use. I mean, you didn't say, but many are saying maybe if you extrapolate the scoring that he's getting now, he will hit close to 10 goals this season.
Yeah, he looks to be on par to that. I mean, I know he scored today, but I don't know what else he did today. I don't know if you guys noticed anything else that he did today that stood out. outside the goal. I know the goal means a lot because I mean, in one of our other matches, he scored and he was man of the match. And I was like, well, he didn't. What else did he do?
He had a shot saved by the goalkeeper. He worked the goalkeeper after 6 minutes. He found Erdegaard on the penalty spot. Yeah, he provided that assist for Erdegaard early doors. Erdegaard had a poor shot wide. He scores the goal after 10 minutes. So he's quite active in the first 10 minutes. And then we seem to just fade away.
As soon as that formation change happened, we just went dead.
And that's on Arteta then to make an adjustment if he sees something that's stopping him from doing what he wants, right? And if it's a cat and mouse game, you got to just keep switching it up when another team stops you. That's his job, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what did they do differently? Because I guess I
think they just started being more physical with us, and I think this is something.
They went to a back three.
I was going to say, yeah, they changed their formation after about 15, 20 minutes, didn't they?
Okay.
I think didn't they go from a back three to a back five? Was that what they did?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It really is a back two.
Fair play to
and
them.
for some reason we still decided, you know what? I'm not going to pass the ball to Partey.
Partey was losing the ball as well. Partey did not have a great game today.
Yeah, but you know what? You got to give him the ball. It was probably for me.
He had the ball and he lost it.
No, he didn't have the ball as much as he's had the ball in the past. Like when we weren't even the man sitting there open in the middle of four players.
He did the first 15 minutes and it just stopped.
Like they stopped feeding him, and like even Xhaka would come back, they wouldn't feed him either. They kept trying to bypass the midfield, and we needed to break them down a little bit through the midfield, and we weren't doing it. I mean, I was sitting there with Ryan. I was like, why didn't they give the ball to our midfielders? Like, you just give it to them, let them sort this thing out. And we kept trying to do other things. You can see a lot of long balls, and then the ball goes back the other way, and it's like, nah, And then Partey has to come back to receive the ball, and it's like playing right into their hands.
Don Juan wants to talk about Tony's fan behind. That's actually a hat. Tony's wearing a hat on the top of his head, Don Juan. And when he has thoughts that are worthwhile, it actually starts spinning, right, Tony?
He's actually Inspector Gadget.
Yeah, see me take off here in a minute.
Tony, you want to speak about Benjamin White?
That's who I'm elected.
We talked about Benjamin White a couple of weeks ago. Fabio failed to make an impact as well. The substitutes, I thought Tierney played well, but the other 2 or 3 substitutes that came on didn't impact for us at all.
Tierney, you could have made a shout for man of a match, just a little cameo, but wasn't on long enough to give it to you.
Sam said Partey losing the ball, but Gary wanted to give it to him more, so he could lose it more. I think that's what Sam's driving at there, Gary. Matt, what did Arsenal do when Southampton changed their formation?
Not a lot. Failed to respond. Yeah, really struggled to kind of break him down and make any real impact. Mm-hmm. It completely cut us off, really, and I don't think we had an answer to it, and we just went flat. And like I say, until we started making some substitutes a bit later on, to try and make an impact, I don't think we really did anything at all, to be honest.
Matt is the most sensible member, as always.
Cheers, Rudy. I'll pay you later.
Rudy's just trying not to make friends. I mean, I don't understand.
All right, here's the question. We're going to talk about Tierney. Gary, is Tierney on his way out? Tomiyasu is playing regular on the left, in the left back position, and in Tierney's place. And Zinchenko will be in there when he comes back to fitness, probably.
Yeah, no, I think, I mean, in some respects, he's hurting Tomiyasu by playing him as much as he is, even though he thinks he's doing a good job for us. I think he was really poor today, Tomiyasu. So I think Tierney's much better in that situation. And it sounds like, if that's going to kind of.
I didn't think he was poor. I thought he was getting back.
Did you see what he did on the goal? He got turned 1-on-1 out in the open.
Where was our other center back?
No. Our best 1-on-1 defender got turned. Our best. You know why? I think
Who was that? Tomiyasu.
Yeah. On the right hand side, he gets
where was
turned.
Saliba at?
It doesn't matter. Our best one-on-one defender gets
Read
turned.
my lips.
It doesn't matter who's around him. He had to play all by himself against Salah. Did we say that then? No, we didn't.
You still got center backs. There's
We're
only
playing
one center back
Southampton.
back.
We're not playing against one of the top wings out there playing outside there.
Gary, when he got
I think he's tired mentally from having to do all that extra
A
work
lot
that
of
he
it
doesn't
is
have
that
to
we
do.
keep playing with stupid fucking high line.
That's not it. He got turned like right inside the box.
Okay, he got turned, but he was able to get back in position, right?
No, they scored, I think, on that particular scenario. That's when they scored.
So that goal was very similar to Firmino's goal.
I'm like Ray. I think Tomiyasu is still back there.
Yeah.
He's up. He's inside we're in our defensive third. We're not playing a high. The high line is maybe how comes the ball makes it all the way through into that area.
Well, we're playing a high line.
At some point, our back line has to make us stop. And they did not do that. They did not do that. They had an opportunity to make us stop, and they did not do that.
We need Zinchenko back, says Don Juan. We need to start controlling the midfield again. Slap a like on the video if you are enjoying this chat. We're going to have a little bit more.
Cheers,
Since there's 15, 16 of you in there, I figured we'll get some Kahoot going, have a little bit of fun with that, and then we'll come back to the conversation. Matt, you hit the nail on the head. They switched to 3 at the back, and we had nothing as usual in the way of a plan B. Ray, I was hoping for 100% ready. October is still red. I guess we can still drive that narrative, right? Even though I was hoping for another win. But you can't be too greedy, right? I mean, we should have not gotten anything probably from that Leeds game. We were so abject against Leeds, and lucky to hold on in the end. So
the thing is, we need to be greedy now, because come January, when difficult games start coming, we need to hoard points like a squirrel hoarding nuts at Christmas.
I like that analogy. Take the points and dig them somewhere where we can't find them in May.
Absolutely.
You know, because apparently squirrels can't find 75% of the nuts that they hide.
Yeah.
Jay,
I just looked at when they scored. It was like I said, 3-4 feet outside the box. Tomiyasu, he looks back to see where his defense is, and then he gets turned, and the guy gets by him. So, like I said, that's our best defender in that situation. You know, usually he shuts that out. He closes that off, and they don't get that. I personally think he just like everybody else. He's a little bit, in his case, probably more mentally taxed than physically. They're asking him to do a lot more work on the offensive side and holding the ball up and all that kind of stuff, which he's not good at. Just not good at all.
Right. Steven said Firmino's goal was totally Xhaka's fault, right? He was tracking Firmino back, and he just stopped running with him.
Xhaka does that. That's what he always does. He's never going to track all the way back.
And I think it's similar to, we didn't have the press in midfield for this goal either. It was very similar type goal. Ball played through. We didn't have the press in midfield. And one of our defenders had to be dragged across. And then, Saliba or Gabriel looked bad. I thought Gabriel played well today as well. I have to give him a shout out too. And we'll talk a little bit about their contracts as well when we come back from Kahoot, the Kahoot game.
I heard you talking about him, Ray. So he got a new deal done.
Got it done. Did you see a tweet about Saliba yesterday, Tony? From
no.
A fake Ornstein account.
What did it say, Ray?
It would have said, the fake account said, Arsenal negotiation with Saliba broke down after 13 minutes. Loud, angry noises were heard as Saliba stormed out. If you'd have seen it, you would have been like, I told you so. I told you Saliba doesn't like Arsenal. Okay, we got 4 people in. Let's give it another minute or two. See if anyone else can come in and play Kahoot. World Cup could be a blessing in disguise for Arsenal, says Iconoclast. I mean, we all know that.
I don't think so.
Well, we're going to get a break, aren't we?
Yeah, but look who's that be missing.
Not a ton of players.
We don't have games during the World Cup, so what do you mean?
Jesus is that be gone. Then we play. Let's see. We've got Newcastle, Spurs, and Man U. That's our January schedule. Where that struggle.
What is it?
I haven't even looked at Stephen's Day or Boxing Day. I haven't even looked to see what, because we have to just worry about this first half, Tony. All right, we got 5 people in. We'll give you 60 seconds before we get going.
You keep distracting me, so I don't get it typed in.
You can do it. It's 6 numbers. Come on.
There's a space there too, Gary. Makes it.
Your man's acting like you're asking him to remember a phone number.
I even put a space in there, Tony, so you can three numbers at a time. Tony, you can do this.
Oh, every time I was typing, you asked me a fucking question.
You can't type in 6 numbers in like 5 seconds?
I can, but I wasn't looking at the screen.
Let's do this. We got 6 people in the house. I think that's as good as it's going to get, right?
Yeah.
Gary, you going to win?
I don't know. It all depends on what the topic is today.
Let's
it
start.
Gary's favorites? Because that's the only way I'm going to win today.
Gary's favorites. 7 people in. Okay, here we go. Morty's Ghost. Like the music, Tony?
I hate the fucking music.
You know what? Don't say anything. Don't say anything, and then Ray will think we can hear it.
3, 2, 1. Here we go.
Let's do this. Good luck, all.
Southampton 1, Arsenal 1. Unfortunately, like 2 more points. How many points did Arsenal take from Southampton last season? How many points did Arsenal take from Southampton last season? 1, 2, 3, or 4?
I'm guessing because I don't remember now. I should remember, but
should remember.
Yeah.
I know it's not the green one.
Balls.
5 we won 1 game at home, and we lost our game away. Gary, which one did you pick?
I did get it right. For me, it was either going to be 1 or 3. So I was like,
Morty's Ghost. Is that you? It's not you. Morty's Ghost is Tony, I'm sure. We still don't know who Conte's syrup is. All right, second one up. How many goals combined were scored in both of those games last season?
It's going to have to be this one, I think. I think, yeah.
3, 4, 5, or 6.
It's either that or that. Yeah, I don't know.
Combined by both teams.
No, I think it's that. I think it's what I chose.
What did Arsenal win? Arsenal won at home 3-0.
Oh, I was off.
Southampton won 1-0. So 4 goals was the correct answer. Whoever one person got the correct answer.
Look at that. Conte's syrup.
Into the lead. All right. Long way to go. It's not over yet.
Good, because I'm having a shocker.
Which player did not score in any of those games last season? Which player did not score?
I'm just gonna guess because I think I got it right because it should be an easy one.
Saka, Lacazette, Gabriel.
I don't know. I went really fast, so let's see.
Bednarak scored in the previous game in Southampton. Lacazette scored the first goal. The answer is Saka. None of you got that one right.
I don't like this game, Ray.
Yeah, Lacazette was like the easiest choice because it's like it always had the highest opportunity not to have scored. But damn.
All right, what is Southampton's nickname? What is the nickname of Southampton? The Saints, the Stains, the Stairs, the Stars.
The Stains, gotta be the Stains.
The Stains.
What type of stains?
You don't want to know. If you have to ask, then you know.
The Saints. 6th correct answer. Somebody picked the Stairs. Incorrect. Okay. Don't give up. Don't give up. Conte's syrup in the lead. Morty's Ghost chasing DWTP in third.
Morty's Ghost chasing Conte's syrup. Don't hear that often.
Thunder Road is in the house, and AFC Reds brings up 5th place.
Brings up the rear, Ray.
All right. What is the name of Southampton's home ground, Tony?
I have to start learning this. So
Selhurst Park, St. Mary's, Pompey, or King Power? Got to be Selhurst Park, right, Tony?
No.
Not Selhurst Park. 7 correct answers. St. Mary's is the correct answer. Gary's into 2nd place. Morty's Ghost right behind
That's
Gary.
a close one.
Conte's Syrup is right there. Which is not a part of the Southampton crest? Think about Southampton crest. Which is not a feature of it? Badger, tree.
I think I picked. I think I guessed wrong. I guessed went a little too fast there.
The badger, the tree, the halo. Which one is not part of the Southampton crest? So, Southampton crest has a halo, a tree, and some water. Badger is the correct answer.
Yeah, I realized as soon as I clicked, I was like, "Oh, I did not read all the answers."
Thunder Road. All right, Thunder Road. Thunder Road could get his first win in the
Thunder Road from nowhere.
Thunder Road, thundering to the front of the.
Ooh, this is a good question.
Before it was St. Mary's, what was the name of Southampton's ground? The Den, the Dell, the Daily, the Dolly.
I'm just guessing now.
Takes you back, that. Yeah.
You notice the GIF is basically an Only Fools and Horses GIF.
Why do you use this one so much, Ray?
What? Del Boy. The Dell. The old Dell was the name of their ground before. Thunder Road. Rami Yasu's in the lead.
How?
Second.
How was that?
Who is that? Who is that idiot called Rami Yasu? What does that even mean?
He shipped Ramsdale and Tomiyasu shipped together.
One go, man. He just said bye.
Listen, this is really competitive. We got 5 people here in 3,000s. Almost as many minutes as Gabriel Jesus this season.
Minus 2,000.
By the end of the season, I have 3,000. Which Arsenal player has not played for Southampton? Which Arsenal player has not played for Southampton? Callum Chambers, put that one in for you, Tony. Emile Smith-Rowe, Oxlade-Chamberlain, and Theo Walcott.
Yeah, just another guess again for me.
Come on, which 3 players have played for Southampton, Gary? Callum Chambers, Oxlade, and Theo. They've all played for Southampton. The one that has not is Emile Smith-Rowe.
Oh, good. I guess right again.
Sometimes
No
you don't
change
have,
on the board.
I guess it's good. Rami Yasu's in a decent lead. Gary's fighting for first spot. Thunder Road's still there. AFC Reds and Conte's Syrup. Still trying to find out who Conte's Syrup is.
I think Gary's going to have a late push.
What year?
Conte Syrup's probably Sam.
What year did Arsenal and Southampton last meet in the FA Cup final? 1971, 2003. Robert Perez scored 1998, 2005.
I've got that wrong, I think.
Robert
I just had to guess. So
you should know this, Gary.
oh crap!
It's
That
the
means I
FA
guessed
Cup,
wrong.
Gary. You should know.
I was going to put that.
Those were my 2 choices, and I chose wrong.
2003. The last question is quite difficult.
Reds.
Okay, the last question is quite difficult, so take your time. I don't think it'll be speed. I think it'll be getting this correct. We'll be right. We'll be the winner here. We've got a lot of people here could win this. 5 of you.
I'll put the fucking question up already.
All right, here we go. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Here we go. 1930s Arsenal legend, born in Southampton, scoring 136 goals, winning 2 titles and 1 FA Cup. Jimmy Brain, Cliff Baston, Ted Drake, Henry King.
Yeah.
Think about it or guess.
Okay, I just guessed.
1930s.
Well, you give enough team to people
Think I've got
Google
it
for
wrong.
it, right?
You're
You need a
95
certain
years
time.
old.
I know, I got it right. Thanks.
Ted Drake is the correct answer, scoring 136 goals.
How that many people get it right? Were they using a Google machine?
It's called guessing, man. It's called guessing.
Conte Syrup comes third. This was a very close game. DWTT second again.
You're damn right, yes.
Oof.
Rami asked if he got there.
Had the worst start ever.
On the road, fourth.
I don't know how you just went from not being on the screen to
I
fucking first
literally was
place.
out of nowhere.
All right, well done, Matt. Well done, Gary. How do you
Well done,
feel?
guys.
About,
Well done, everyone.
how do you
Yes,
feel about
yes.
coming second, Gary?
It sucks. It's first loser.
First loser again. All right, that was a bit of
Come
fun.
on for ages.
Listen, I decided to make it a little bit hard there, just at the end. Just at the end to give you a really. Was that a guess, Matt, or you knew that one?
I had an educated guess.
Okay, an
An
educated.
Does that
educated
mean you
guess. I knew it was.
Googled it?
I knew it was out of Cliff Baston and Ted Drake, and I thought Cliff Baston was a little bit later on than that, so it was an educated guess.
Henry King was circa 1914, 1919, something like that.
Mm.
And we know about Henry King because of King Henry. King Theory Henry. Right?
I had no clue.
Has Saliba dropped off just a little bit? Just a little bit, maybe, like the whole team has. But I think he's been pretty decent for us. Saliba needs to work on his concentration. I am only on my
I thought he
mobile.
was poor today.
What, Tony?
So I think
Poor?
he was poor today.
Okay. We want to talk about the Don Juan man in the match next, or any other points to make from the game. I mean, you got to give Southampton some credit for getting the draw in the end. We hate to say that.
Yeah, we've got to come up with a plan B. They make a move, we do nothing to counter it. Can't do that.
Mr. Tom, want to maybe talk about Saka? Okay, everybody's answered questions.
I thought Mr. Tom was going away. He's like, I made my appearance. I'm going away. Now he's back.
Yeah, I didn't think he was gonna. I didn't think he definitely was not gonna stick around to hang out with us today.
We didn't use enough roach spray.
Mr. Tom would have gotten a 9 out of 10. He might have won. You can't win if you're not in, right?
I think he definitely would have, because I think I got the first 2 or 3 wrong. So if you got 9 out of 10, then you definitely would have won. Well done, really. Well done. Well done, Mr. Tom.
Mahir, have a good week. We shall speak
And
to
you, Mahir?
Yeah.
Hopefully you are feeling good. Mahir is Conte's syrup. Okay. I just think Conte Syrup wants to remain anonymous, I feel. I think it might be Stan, but he denies it. I don't know. Man of the match, the ref. No, that's not Tony. Cliff, here's interesting facts about Cliff. I've got some more. Cliff Baston had the club goal record before Wright beat it with 179 goals. So Baston had 178 goals, made more sense with Drake from the others. Okay, and little piece about let me see. I got it here. I got notes here. Got notes. Ted Drake was the top scorer for 5 seasons running. He actually got 42 goals in the 1934-35 season, and in one game in the 35-36 season, he scored all 7 goals in a 7-1 win over Aston Villa. And if World War II had broken out, he would have had actually scored more goals for Arsenal as well. So pretty impressive for Cliff Baston. Okay. Okay. Matt, who do you want to talk about for man of the match?
Ooh, good question. I think we've seen Saliba in the comments, and it's an interesting one to see. Has he dropped off, or is it just the general level of the team has dropped, or, can we single him out a little bit for his levels himself? I think it could be a good one.
Is that for man of match, not to talk about?
Oh, well, for man of the match then.
Yeah, we could Saliba. Yeah.
No one really stood out to me, so apart from Xhaka, who actually got the goal in the end, so I'd go for Xhaka because he scored a smasher.
Yeah, he was pretty bright in the first 10, 15 minutes. I'd probably echo what you're saying there. I'll put Granit Xhaka up for Tony Don Juan man in the match. I wanted a little bit more. I thought Saka was bright. Martinelli may be suffering effects of having a lot of minutes in his legs. And Erdegaard, we need a little bit more from Erdegaard as well, especially when you're in those situations. Gary?
Yeah, no, I was saying it earlier. It's like just because you scored, you get man of the match, and like you said, nobody really shined. But I kind of felt like Ben White actually was probably good in this match, even though for some reason I didn't think he played. But on that right hand side, it looked really good with him. Definitely coming up, and the fact that they didn't really get too much, I don't think, until later on in the match. But yeah, like you said, I don't think there's anybody else that stood out as much. So I guess Granite gets it for me.
We got to give it to Granit Xhaka. Listen.
No, we don't.
It's a decision that we can make on our own. You can't tell us what to do.
Tony's probably going to hand that out to someone else, but I think it would be unjust of you to do that, Tony. Go ahead, Tony.
How can you say it's unjust? It's the man's choice.
It's a tough one with lots of 6s and 7s. I thought Saka had a good first half. Xhaka had a good first half. But Steven gets it right with who he suggested there.
Gabriel.
The new guy with a new contract there would be Gabriel.
Yeah, put his body on the line, head clash with Salisu in the second half. But
and missed by about that much of getting a goal.
Yeah. As much as we call him a head case, he is our best defender. Like on that back line, like in the middle there. And everybody's essentially really on the Saliba train, but Gabriel is the one with all the stats if you look at what he does. And those are pretty, I think, important for us. So he's doing his job. He does have his mental breakdowns, but not lately, right? Of late, have you seen much? Like even in the Leeds match, he was the best defensive player we had in the game. So, a couple of blips, but most of the time he's consistently good.
Yeah, he wasn't one with a handball or one that gave a penalty away.
What I want to see from Gabriel Magalhaes is maturity. Okay, you're going to make mistakes as a defender. I don't think that hurts his game. I don't think his game falls apart when he makes a mistake.
What about what tweet I mentioned you and Gary in yesterday with a quote about Gabriel?
You sent me something? I don't really pay attention to whatever you have to say.
I did not send it to you. I put your name in that.
Whenever you don't have anything good to say about me, so I usually ignore it. You're like, blah, 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 and don't waste a tweet. See?
Tell us what it's all about, Tony.
And then I'm like, you know what? I'm not even paying that.
Recant it to Gary, please. Yes, next week could be a Forest theme. You never know, really. If you're starting to notice a theme or a sequence, I would go with that theory, really. I would go with that. Tom, what's the temperature for your manager at the moment? Yeah, listen, Jesse Marsh, you got to stick with your manager. It looks like Brendan Rodgers might be getting Leicester out of the mire that they've been in. And what he could have been fired a month or 2 months ago.
Very true. Yeah.
And it's not like they weren't. Okay, I did see the highlights. I didn't see the match. Leeds had opportunities to go ahead. I think, if I recall, too.
They went 1-0 up. I think.
I think there were opportunities to go up 2 at some point. I thought so. They had an opportunity to get a second goal in that first half, I believe. And I don't know if they hit the post or what, but they are getting the opportunity. So it's just a matter of finishing. Which got to find somebody to do that if they're not there already.
I'm going to try and find the tweet as well.
Is Tony going to send it again? Because I don't even remember what it was now. You said as a tweet?
Cheers, Riddy.
It says,
thanks, mate. Have a good week as well.
All right, see you, Riddy.
Did you find it, Rick?
Well, here's the problem. You said, listen to what the man is saying, and there's no link. There's no trail to it. Listen to what the man is saying.
Is
You
that
didn't
what?
link-
Does it not show it on there?
No,
All right, so that's probably So that's what it is. That's
there's
what it
no
was.
trail.
I'll find it. Hold on.
You know what annoys me is when people tweet out, "Could have done better there," but don't tell you what they're talking.
Yeah, they
about.
don't put they don't quote.
I swear I
the
put
tweeter.
the link in there.
No, there's
Missed
okay.
a chance, or they say missed a.
Okay, are you ready now?
You know what, Tony?
This
I
is-
was listening, and you were probably listening too, and you actually
This
heard
is from
something.
Charles Watts. Gabriel has all the ingredients to be a top defender, easily to forget about how young he still is. Yes, he can make the odd rash decisions, which can blot an otherwise excellent performance. But there aren't many 24-year-old center backs who don't do that. No brainer to get his tied down.
Yeah, no brainer, definitely, and he loves Arsenal, and he, these are the kind of players they're starting to develop the love for Arsenal. Gary, we hear about other teams like Barca talking about a DNA of the club,
Yeah,
and
but
we
you know
developed that at our club.
Yeah, here's the thing.
Cheers,
Was
buddy.
Gabriel one of the players that we thought would be getting a contract at this point? Like
No.
I don't remember his name ever coming up in any
No.
discussion. Like, you know what? We have players that we need to re-sign. And next thing you know,
No.
Gabriel's the one that signed. So I'm like, is that? I mean, it's definitely required, but is
Come out
that
of the blue.
like the most important? Like of the three that we have, one of them should be signed by now. If Gabriel's being signed for me, just so I feel like the other two can
The
have
other
him at some
central
point.
defender, you mean?
Any
Saliba?
one of the other three. I know.
So Saliba
Martinelli-
has a year and a half
Mar-
left. What does
I know
Ben White have?
Martinelli.
Year and a half or 2.5 left? 2.5 left.
How much time did Gabriel have on his contract, Tony?
Good question.
Probably a year.
Okay, but was the need to sign Gabriel Magalhaes more pressing than Bukayo Saka or Martinelli or Saliba, or was it just done without fuss and easier, without any
Probably
kind of
it's the easier one to get done.
Unless there could be a lot of back and forth with Bukayo Saka, Martinelli, or Saliba.
Well, that was my point. It's going to be my point, really. I think the other contract deals are probably going to be more complex in terms of what they demand, what they want, the opportunities. The discussions there are going to be a little bit more ongoing than a straightforward Gabriel Magalhaes contract deal. So, I think it's just by the fact that it's probably quite a simple one to get done.
Yeah.
Because I know Saka's been looking at what money he's getting and all of this kind of stuff, and release clauses potentially, apparently, whether that's true or not. I don't know.
Saka, we originally offered him a deal last October, and it still hasn't gotten done in over a year. So it might wait until the end of the season to get sorted out.
Yeah, but you don't want it to be a distraction, do you?
No.
And that might be the pressure he had on him. Was the contract discussions, because it did look like he had a little bit of a pressure on him, and I assumed it was just the responsibilities on the pitch. But if they got contract talks behind the scenes, that also could definitely play into kind of like thinking about other things.
That's why when his form picked up, I thought the deal probably got pretty much sorted out.
You didn't say that.
No, I said that.
To who?
To you guys.
Just now?
No. After the first month of the season, I said.
You didn't know he's going through contract talks after the first month of the season.
I suggested he was. I knew he was because he hasn't signed yet. It started over a year ago.
I don't know. I think we're going to have to go back to the videotape on that one.
He gets us on fine print, Gary. He really gets
us on. I had no clue that he was thinking about Gabriel's contract at the beginning of the season.
No, I don't think so either. But if you can find
I said Saka, not Gabriel.
Oh, Saka. Okay.
All right. Mr. Tom said, what's the alternative? Spending all week miserable because I expected to bend over by Salah.
Enjoy this. Come talk with us, dude. Just talk with us.
Mr. Tom.
Come on.
Liverpool. He's gone missing, hasn't he?
Yeah, he doesn't want to chat because he feels
like
his football is not going so well. But
watch wrestling, Tom.
Matt, do you think it's fair, Matt, to say Liverpool may not be the team we thought they were going to be this season?
Definitely not.
I think there's always the opportunity with Liverpool to. I mean, they've got the quality there, no doubt. I mean, you
keep waiting
you
for
can't bet against the Liverpool, but at the same time, I think, I'm not sure if they are the same team that they were.
Can I answer this one, Ray?
Well, yeah, after Matt's done speaking, of course.
No, I think they probably are on a downward trajectory. I think they do have some work to do with the squad, a bit of a refresh in places and strengthening. It surprised me at how much they've kind of gone downhill this season. I certainly didn't expect them to be where they are right now, but you look at where we were after the first 3-5 games last season. It's a long season, so I don't expect them to stay there. But bit surprising, really. It can be interesting, but they're not the same team, I don't think. Klopp looks rattled.
Yeah. Liverpool in 8th place, Tony. This can't be about me. It has to be about Liverpool and Leeds. Okay, Tony?
Okay.
Go ahead.
I was to go, what you have up there is what I was a comment on.
Okay. Question: if Gabriel is the type of player we should be signing, what is Arsenal's ethos? Obviously, we have a direction then. Yeah.
I think he's exactly the type. He's very vocal on the field. He's one of the first, if not the first, always to a referee talking to him. He's got the skill and grit you want. Brick shit house. No nonsense player. Our best defender. So I don't see why you wouldn't want to sign him.
Yeah, exactly. Gary, Tony loves a brick shit house.
You keep saying that, yeah. No, but I mean, like I said, I didn't think there was. He was in that part in his career where he needed to have his contract renewed anyway. So it wasn't. Maybe it was the 4th contract that we need to renew, but not the 4th. It was not the 3rd most important one. Yeah. But the fact that they got it done means they get that one off the books, right? So no, there's nobody in our 13 or 14 player, depth chart, if you want to call it that we don't want to keep in house, right? So he's definitely one of them. Everybody else we want to keep. And other players are either on their way out, in terms of like an El Neni, or just aren't ready for us right now. Might go on loan. So
don't forget, as Stan has coined the phrase, we still have a shitbag 6 that we could easily name.
We're five. We are 5 players from to be able to compete in the Champions League
regularly
and not see a significant drop off like we have right now, right? And
exactly.
we need to get close to half of that in January. So because we're not going to hit on everything, right? You never hit on all 6, right? Like it's hard to probably not going to bring in 6 players next summer. I'm going to say that again because it happened the first time, and we brought in 6 again. So
if you keep saying it won't happen,
I can't see us bringing in another 6 players in 3 years, right? In the summer. So
that's Gary's strategy, right? That's your strategy.
That's 18, and you can only keep 20, 24, 25. So at some point, you should have a squad. We should already have a squad, but we still have holes.
I think that's a strategy, Gary. You keep saying it won't happen, and the club will surprise you pleasantly, right?
If they keep improving, right? Because you bring in another 6, that means you're improving significantly, right?
Yeah.
Like to where you're bringing in starters. You can't. I don't think you can bring in 6 and not half of them be starters, like pushing people to the bench, or else, that's why I don't think the numbers have to be that high for us to have a good summer.
Anfield is still formidable. Liverpool at home are a different animal to Liverpool away from home, but we still want the best for Leeds. We want Leeds not to be one of the 3. If a team has injuries and is out of form, Leeds are always charitable. Arsenal have been that team, Mr. Thomas.
You know what? Don't say that to him because I've been saying it to him. Say something different. I've been telling him everything that he's experiencing. We've experienced that for the last number of years.
Doesn't help, huh?
And that's why, like you said, if Marsh is the man, then let him be the man and help him out, right?
Yeah.
right? Because it looked like they had picked up a lot of good players in the summer, right? We got every time a player came up, it was like, who is that? And it's like, oh, that's actually a good pick for them, right? And Sinister and having Rodrigo
Aronson.
there and all these players that they picked up, Tyler Adams. I mean,
Aronson.
all these players they've picked up have been good. So
They're decent players.
just a matter of time to click. It doesn't click in a season. Nobody can do that consistently.
Which have been the three worst teams right so far this season, Gary?
Oh, I thought it was going to be Leicester City, but I'm totally wrong on that one, right?
West Ham, Wolves, and Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, no, well, definitely Nottingham Forest, Wolves. It's hard to say with Leeds having a lot of red on the board right now.
Yeah.
That they aren't really in that boat right now.
Yeah.
I mean, West Ham, to me, Leeds has a better 11 than West Ham has. Probably some really good talent that every once in a while will shine for them, like they did today, right? That's why I feel like Leeds is okay because they have 11. They have 11 players there that can get, when they're playing, when they're clicking, it looks really good.
Yeah, look, yeah. I think if Arsenal need a break for the World Cup, Leeds will probably need that break as well because they're.
I think it's hard to say who the 18th one is. I think you can kind of pencil in Wolves and Forest, and the other ones between 4 to 16.
Yeah, because Leicester City could just be a blip in the season, right? Where they get that's the kind of a little streak of wins, and then like they go back to where they've been because it's a struggle, right?
I will say, looking at Leeds, they've got 2 draws in the last 7 games. I think that'll turn around. It's not going to continue that way for you, Tom. It's very cyclical. Form cycles come around every 5 or 6 games, and teams do pick up. Look at Southampton against us. They picked up a few points now after losing 4 on the spin, and that's what happens. Next weekend, Matt, it's not in the Forest next weekend, but I think Leicester have picked up form a little bit, and Manchester City go to Leicester first game next weekend. Am I grasping straws? Away from home, Manchester City, Leicester City.
I think so. I think so.
Are you trying to say that's your upset pick for next week, Rick?
No, I'm just.
You've been swinging for big ones.
I might swing for that one next, but I don't have to make that decision until Thursday night on the forum. But listen,
I'd like to know the odds on that. To be fair,
what was that? What was that match you guys are talking about?
Leicester City hosts Manchester City.
Am I in first place now, Ray?
You are in first place. Sam won't like it, but you are in first place. Yeah, by 1 point. He did pick Southampton, Sam. He did pick Southampton. And Tony is happy.
I'm a half a point ahead. Yay!
I picked up 7 points. I picked up 7 points myself, so I've closed the gap a little bit as well on Stan and Sam.
Yeah, Stan's kind of standing still the last 2-3 weeks.
Gary, we saw City creak ever so slightly yesterday against Brighton.
Yeah, well, it was just a matter of time for them to score. You see it in every match when they're clicking. The ball never even crossed midfield at one point. It seemed like it was always in there at their possession.
And when they're threatened, right?
And it's just a matter of time. And then we're not there yet where we have a lot of possession, but a lot of it's on our side of the pitch, and that and when we do cross, we seem to always want to still go back and never just push forward. So I think once we get that out of our skin that we have to go backwards, sometimes you can turn the other way, maybe, and push the ball forward because we need to put pressure on them, and we kind of let up and give them an opportunity to regroup. And it was a matter of time before they were going to score, though. I don't think they were being threatened at all. You have to threaten them at some points to slow their attack down, and if you don't do that, you're going to run in a situation where that long ball from the goalkeeper comes in and you're in the box and you're bringing them down and all that kind of stuff. So you got to play your game too, right? You can't play their game because you're just going to lose. You got to have whatever you do good. You need to show it in part of the game when an opportunity arises. So
Stephen said Forest match will be a draw. Players are hitting the wall right now, and Arteta seems unwilling to rotate properly, and we have a thinner squad as well. I thought City creaked just a little bit, but I'm listen. If we're going to be in a title race, I'm not saying we're in a title race this season with City, but if we are going to be, we have to look at what we would have done against Brighton at home. We get 2-1, we get cut back to 2-1. We'd expect one of our better players to come out with a worldie, maybe not something like Kevin De Bruyne, but Saka or Martinelli, or one of those strikes that's going to win the game for us, and that's what Kevin De Bruyne did yesterday to get the 3-1. Put us under a little bit of pressure today, but going to Southampton was never going to be easy. Helped a little bit by the referee, but we didn't deserve it because we didn't turn those fine margins into a 2-goal lead. Matt, what's your thoughts going to the weekend then? Nottingham Forest, and I know I probably already prefaced and asked you that, and you don't really see City dropping any points at Leicester.
I don't see City dropping any points, no. I think that the thing is with City, it's not so much that you can't score against them, because you can. They give you opportunities to get goals, and teams haven't necessarily struggled to get goals. It's down the other end. They're just so formidable with Haaland now. He's almost unplayable. So it's going to be very interesting to see if any defense this season can keep him quiet, really, and really keep him quiet. So I'll be interested when we come up against him to see how Gabriel and Saliba do as two big centre backs, to see how Haaland battles with them two, and if we can actually, combat him a little bit. Because, you saw in the last game that he played, he's so physical. He just brushes players off the ball like it's just nothing. He's so physical. But, I can't see Leicester getting anything from that game.
Yeah,
I just can't see it. I think for us against Forest, I think they're going to give us a good game. I think they'll be very, very they'll be flying high after that win against Liverpool. That's a big confidence boost for them. They'll want to go out and probably play some good football against us and see if they can nick something, especially after seeing the Southampton result today. So I think they'll be pushing us. I think they'll be wanting to give us a game. I think we'll still win that game, but I'm less confident in the number of goals we might get as I was maybe 3 weeks ago. I think it'll be much more of a tight affair than it may have been 2 or 3 weeks ago. So I'd maybe go a 2-1, something like that, 1-0, maybe, something like that. I don't think there'll be much in it. I'm hoping we get the win, because I don't want another 0-0 Burnley January draw for when I go down there. So
you're going to have to bring some good luck to the game, Matt, and don't bring any 0-0 board draws to the game.
Well, I need to bring whatever Gary brought to the North London derby, because Gary just had bags of good luck with him. So whatever you did, Gary, tell me your pre-game ritual and I'll carry it on, mate.
I would like to say I drank a lot of beer, but I didn't drink a lot. I did have some, but I didn't drink a lot. So I wanted, the one thing is I wanted to make sure I saw all 90 minutes. I never left my seat. Typically when I go to these things, you leave at halftime to go do what you got to do. I never left. I pretty much stood, and I sat down maybe at halftime when nothing was happening, but I stood for the 90 plus minutes of the game. So I took it all in. It's
So here we are with 25 goals scored across 11 games. It's 2.
Are we not all going to get to talk about the next match, or are you just switching gears?
No, go for it. Jump in.
Yeah.
Just Matt gets to talk about it, I guess.
No, I was just wondering because you started talking about goals. I don't know if it was related to the Forest match.
No,
for me,
we've dropped off a little bit in scoring, but it does relate in. Yeah.
All right. No. For me, I always talk about playing for like 90 minutes, and today, offensively, we probably play for about 45, 50 minutes, and defensively, we kind of let up right at the end. when they started really pressing us. So we need a full game performance in one side of the pitch, for us to finish off Nottingham Forest. Either they get nothing, or we just really have a good day in the final third there, and that's how for me, we're going to find out where we are and going into that match. Otherwise, it will be really tense, and hopefully we do squeak out with the win no matter what. But I think, like you said, any team that's watching Arsenal is going, "Oh, that's just a typical Arsenal." In reality, we're just light. We're really our depth, our bench is really light, and that's why we look the way we do. But we're still able to play. We're still able to play our game to some degree, just not at the levels that get us the easier wins. So, I think that's Arteta's going to find that somehow. Maybe it's rest. Maybe it's different formations or different players on the pitch playing together, kind of seeing how that works out. So, yeah. But we definitely need the 3 points, because I think it's that one. And then after that, for us, what is it? It's, is it just, it's Chelsea and then Wolves. So, yeah, we need to kind of go into that Chelsea match having played better than we have the last 3 times we've been out there in the Premier League. So, yeah, 3 points is 3 points is 3 points right now.
Tony. Nottingham Forest at home. Look at our schedules left. We got away games. 3 away games left. Today was an away game. That's another away game gone. We got to point out that we've only got 1 home game in these till the World Cup comes, and it's next Sunday against Forest. We go away to Chelsea, go away to Wolves. They're going to be difficult games in themselves. So we really need to grab 3 points next Sunday.
Yeah, Forest should be an easy one. Just depends on what squad he puts out Thursday.
I don't think it'll be easy because teams are going to come physically at us now.
I still think it'll be easy. We're at home.
Cool. I hope you're right. Hope you're right.
Like I said, the main things is who he plays on Thursday. If he plays too much of a squad, then we might struggle a little bit, but we'll still win out.
All right, let's get to the Matt feature. What was for supper today, Matt? Is Tony only allowed to ask that question?
I think so. That is Tony's question. I don't know anyone else can ask that, can they?
Go ahead,
Matt.
Tony.
What was for Sunday's dinner?
Roast chicken with gravy and all the trimmings. You'll be very happy to hear that I stuck to tradition today.
That is the traditional Sunday roast, Matt.
I was hoping for pizza with pineapple.
No, decided against it today. I get crucified.
Did you think about it, Matt?
I always think about pizza. Pizza's always on my mind. It never escapes my brain. But no, I went against it. I got crucified for doing that.
All right, let's have a quick word about PSV, Gary, and then we'll get out of here in a few minutes.
It will be interesting how he decides to line up for that match, because a draw and we're done. And
that was today, I thought.
No. Maybe we got draws in us right now, but if a draw in that match and we are top of the group, so. There's a lot riding on it once again, but it's not as big as beating PSV. Like, they can beat us and it doesn't matter because we still have another match. But it'd be nice for whoever, like our backups, to come in and get something. If that means, if we see Zinchenko, I'm happy, because that means he'll play against Forest, right? Because I think that's important that we get, if he's healthy, that we get him back in to the matches. But also, I think all those other players need to get some incentive that, you know what, I have confidence in you that you can get something out of a match for us, right? I mean, Holding's going to play with probably Gabriel again, because that seems to be the best pairing for me. I don't think we have anybody else
put
in that position at this point.
I'm going to have a question for all 3 of you. It's just come to mind now, so I'll ask Gary first. Gary, 3 players that you do not want to see in the squad or even play on Thursday that you think Arteta might play. 3 players you do not want to see. Gabriel Jesus, number 1.
Don't leave the witness. Let him answer.
No, yeah, you're like feeding me the answers, your answers, anyways. Now,
Wow.
3 players that I don't want to see. Wow. Okay.
On Thursday, you're going to be disgusted if you see
Erdegaard should not play.
Erdegaard, okay.
He should not play. I kind of feel like he needs to give Martinelli games, so I think he should play. I think Saka should sit. Because Martinelli hasn't played a full match yet, like in the last I don't know how many matches. So I think Saka should sit.
Okay.
And for me, I think Jesus is still not there for us, and I think we've got a couple more weeks left, 3 more weeks left, and then we get a big break. So I kind of feel like I don't want him to kind of feel like he's taking a step up and then dip because he doesn't play. So I think Jesus actually should play. Whether he starts is a different story. So Libra, who has always sat, I think will not. You said not play.
David always said he played 1 game.
So no, but I don't think he'll play with Holding anymore. So
just players. If you see the team sheet, you'd be like, no, Arteta.
No, because I kind of feel like I think Cedric should play. Sorry, that's a different question, but I mean, I think Cedric should play, and Nelson and Marquinhos and Nketiah.
Cedric's still on the team.
He is still on the team. If he's healthy, he should play, or else we don't need him anymore, right? So there are players that need to play. I mean, Partey should be available, but I don't think he should play. He shouldn't start for sure.
Yeah. Okay, Tony. 3 players you do know you're going to be disappointed in Mikel if you see him playing on Thursday.
Saka, Jesus, and Benjamin White.
Okay. Matt?
Very, very close to that, actually, Tony. I was going to say Saka, Jesus, and Benjamin White, because I want to see maybe Tomiyasu drop over that side, or Cedric, and then have Tierney play, because I think he deserves a starting berth. And it's been a shame not to see him play. So I want to see him get some proper minutes.
Yeah. So what did I say? I forget now.
Well, you talked about Erdegaard.
Okay. Yeah. Erdegaard.
I don't know if you ever gave us a third one.
Erdegaard, Saka.
And you said Saka, and maybe
it's definitely Saka and Erdegaard, and I guess Saliba is what I said because he doesn't play. So I expect him to continue that one. But everybody else, I think. I mean, Ben White definitely is. I didn't even think about him, but he definitely probably shouldn't. He doesn't. He's fine. You know what I mean? He's fine.
I have to say today I winced a little bit when Kieran Tierney went down holding onto his knee. And I winced when Granit Xhaka went down on his shoulder and Martinelli went down on his shoulder. So this was a physical game from Southampton.
Well, the official allowed too much, and that's why
allowed too much. And this, I think, is the slant that we're going to be playing against. If people are trying to keep Manchester City in the title race, is that about?
I don't think they have to beat us up for that to happen. It wasn't as if no.
Is that a bad take? The officials trying to keep City in the title race.
If this is what they have to do to get City to win it, then they haven't been watching football for like the last 8-10 years.
All right, we'll leave it there. There's plenty more to talk about Thursday night, I'm sure. What I've gathered is Arteta has favorites. All managers have favorites, and sometimes I'm going to go with Liverpool again. Jurgen Klopp has favorites, and he's suffering for continuing.
But it's not the favorites. It's just that he only trusts 14 players.
And I thought he would trust more because he brought in more players. He brought the players that he's brought in, not the players that were here that have done good. I kind of feel like if you don't trust them, then you just wasted your money, right?
Yeah. All right, we'll leave it there. Thank you. My hair was for a short time here. Thank you, Matt, for joining. As always, we'd love to hear from you on Sundays.
No, likewise. Thank you. Thanks everyone in the chat. Great chat as always. Good fun, and great to see you all on the panel. And I love being on there on a Sunday. It's great. Just a shame we didn't have 3 points.
I've been dreading the day that we would drop points. Twitter is probably going to go into some kind of spinning out.
Benjamin White has played.
It's hard to go after us who are still top of the league, right? So until that day comes, if it comes.
I mean, Leeds, Gary Leeds.
That right there is the thing, right? He makes it. I believe he puts in a lot of thought into the decisions that he makes, and then immediately he'll just like turn on his own decision that quickly. Like he's not confident in his own judgment, right? Because you don't bring in Marcanos and Fabio Vieira and then like not give them the confidence and trust that you have in them to go out there and perform when I think they should be part, regularly, especially Fabio. I mean, 30 mil for a player that you don't want to, like, he can come in and replace Erdegaard if you see fit to do that. That's why you need to be able to do that. Kevin De Bruyne does not play every match. He doesn't start every match. They do rotate with him for certain reasons, right? Yeah. Be it injuries and anything, but that's what we need to have, right? We want somebody to come in and push Jesus to the bench because Jesus needs it.
I think Arteta recognizes and knows that he needs more players, and hopefully the club will do that in January. We all know, we all can see our team is wearing down a little bit. The 3 and 4 goals are going to be 2 and 1 goals now in recent weeks. Gary, thanks for joining.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, everybody in the chats, for being with us today. We'll do this again next Sunday. Ray, Matt, Mahir, and Tony, good to be on the panel with you. Definitely enjoy these Sundays.
Hasn't been the worst thing talking about a draw. I feared that I would feel a lot worse about it, but we need to go and get the next W. Tony, thanks for joining, Tony.
Yep.
Tony is telling us all about the minutes here. So we'll talk a little bit more about minutes on Thursday night, Tony. How about that?
Yep. A little bit too many for him, too many for White. Just like I said, they're getting tired. Shouldn't be playing in Europa as much.
Yeah. Erdegaard, Erdegaard does not look exactly pleased when he's coming off. That's another thing maybe to talk about Thursday. But he has to accept if you don't play well, you will get substituted. And Fabio Vieira is going to push for that as well. Listen, thanks, chaps, for joining. Everybody in the chat box as well. Come and see us Thursday night. We'll see if he does indeed play a lot of the kids on Thursday night. I think it'll be more of the same. Probably not what we want to see. A slightly rotated team, but pretty strong as well. Thanks for watching. Slap a like on the way out.
I see Marquinhos again.
Yeah, Marquinhos would be a good one. All right, we're out of here. It was just a point today, but that team lost. Liverpool lost. Spurs
and lost. United and Chelsea didn't win, so we'll take that. And the only team that won is the team everybody thinks will keep winning. So.
All right.
And another team.
Well, they said that Newcastle did jump into the top 4 now, so
Newcastle has the best form of anybody right now.
They had a lot of draws there.
They're top of the form table.
They've won games, Gary, recently. They had a lot of draws to start with.
Oh, right. I'm looking at the last 5. We're equal with them. So in terms of, they might have the last win, but I mean, we have 4 wins and a draw just like they do. So
cool. Yeah, they had a lot of draws to start with. I actually questioned Eddie Howe and see what he was doing, but they've picked up. All right, Matt, Gary, Tony, this is the long outro. We're out of here. Slap a like on the way out. 1-1.
Keep chatting about nothing.
Take care, everyone.